Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Bible Study Minute. Today we're taking a look at 1 Samuel chapters 1 and 2. And in these first couple of chapters of 1 Samuel, we see two very completely different things happening here. In the first chapter of 1 Samuel, what we see happening is we see Elkanah and his two wives, one of those wives being Hannah, who is childless. And during one of their times of worship, where they journey to the tabernacle, Hannah just isn't feeling it. She's been teased, mocked, and she just cried out to the Lord while in a time of prayer and worship. And she just pours out her heart to the Lord in complete anguish and pain, being just completely real with God with her feelings, which is something that we need to be able to do in our own life, because God is big enough to handle those prayers. And he might not always answer them, especially in the way that he answers it for Hannah, but God is big enough to handle those prayers. And our growth and intimacy with the Lord comes from praying those kind of prayers. And what we see with Hannah is that the Lord honors this prayer. And her prayer was to God, give me a son, and if you do, I will give him back to you, and he will serve you for his entire life. And that's what she does. But then we get to chapter 2. And in chapter 2, we see Eli, Hophni, and Phinehas. And these are the priests in Israel. And what we see from these individuals, especially Hophni and Phinehas, is that they've completely corrupted the priesthood. They are prostituting themselves, sleeping with the women that are working in the temple. They're stealing from the offerings of the Lord, and they've made themselves fat as a result of all this. And even though Eli has confronted his sons about this, he's participating in it as well. And so he's not completely innocent in all of this. And then in chapter 2, we see a very clear contrast, where even the scripture calls it a contrast, where we see Hophni and Phinehas, and then we see Samuel, the son that was given to Hannah. And both of them are being raised in the house of the Lord, but they're working and living their lives in two completely different ways. And then the Lord just finally comes through a prophet speaking to Eli and says, you know what? You guys are done. You're not honoring me, and I'm going to take the priesthood away from you. Your sons are going to die. I'm going to take the priesthood away from you and raise up someone who is going to honor me and do what they're supposed to do with the priesthood. So that's the contrast of what we see happening here. We see someone who is crying out to the Lord with her all, and then we see people who are in leadership but have completely ignored the Lord. But what I want us to focus on today is really just Hannah's prayer, because that's the heart of what struck me this morning in reading this passage, that she is someone who cried out to the Lord with all that she had. And that's something that we need to be able to do more with our lives. We just need to be honest and open up to God. He's big enough to handle our big prayers. He's someone who can handle the hurts and complaints and just whatever emotions that we're feeling. He can handle those. And in doing so, we might not always get the answer to the prayer that we want, but those prayers are what grow our relationship with the Lord. They allow us to trust in the promises that we find in Scripture and trust in God even when things in life aren't going like we would want them to. So that's what I want to encourage you with today as you meditate on the first couple of chapters of 1 Samuel. And we'll look at 1 Samuel more tomorrow. Until next time, grace and peace.